Cleveland. There he is.
Hello. Hi.
Hey, Cleveland, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I found out about you through someone I had on the show a few months ago, right at the beginning of the pandemic. His name is Chance Hayden. And
yeah.
I believe that he was on the same label that you were on, or are on. I'm not sure how that's working or how that works. But I know I couldn't play his music. I know that he was like, oh, I think it'll be weird with the record label. So I definitely steered away from that with all this DCMA stuff going around. But I really have loved. I love the music that you put out, but I love the range of your voice. It is just incredible. It's just so full and robust. And I don't know. Tell me, what is music? Is this something that you've had since you remembered? I mean, is this running your family? I mean, what's your lineage of music in your family?
Yeah, it does run. Mainly, it was me. My mother, my grandfather, were the main singers in the family. And I listened a lot, mimicked a lot of things that I heard. And my mom heard me singing around the house, cleaning up. You guys, I was very shy. And she said that I was. So I started following whatever mom said. I lived in her house. So,
hey, I'm so sorry, Cleveland. I'm getting a poor connection on my end. I'm so sorry about this. Just give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry about this, guys. It's I'm gonna actually switch over here for a second. Give me 1 second. I might lose you for a second, Cleveland. So just give me 1 second. Oh my. This is the fun part about doing stuff live, is that we get to experience all the bumps in the road together.
Yes, we do.
All right, okay. We're gonna see if this works. So we're coming back to Cleveland here. Fancy transition, awesome. So it's frozen now. Wonderful. I love it. This is great. This is turning out well. I'm not sure why it froze on us, Cleveland. We might just switch you over to a picture and then we'll just move forward, because I hate to waste your time with you just sitting there staring at me like, ask me questions, bro. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I get this thing together. And then, oh, there you are. All right, you popped in there we go. I don't know what I did, but we're back. Okay, so if you don't mind, the lineage of music, how does that work for you?
Yeah, well, it basically started with my mother and my grandfather. Church, honestly. Church, listening to my mom, the music that she played a lot of gospel, and she played a lot of Little Stevie and Dr. B-side music, but a lot of gospel. So I literally listened to her because she sings, and my grandfather, he was influence on me vocally, and just watching what he does. And here I am today. Because my mom made me, so I'm glad.
So, Cleveland, I just want you to know, and I hope I hope you don't get upset with me, but this is what I heard.
Okay.
No, I'm so sorry. Do you have headphones or anything? I'm so sorry to put you through this.
Let me get that.
Sure. I apologize. I'm gonna go back here so you guys can look at me, so you don't have to see Cleveland doing his thing. This is one of the biggest fears I've had when I started doing this live was having these issues. But now that we're here in the middle of it, it's not so bad. Oh my gosh.
Do you hear me now?
Oh my gosh, it's like night and day. I appreciate.
Here we are.
Okay. Yes. No, I'm good. Okay, we're back with Cleveland. Cleveland, one more time. Yes. If you don't mind.
No problem.
You were saying that your mother and your grandfather and church is a huge influence on your musical abilities and appreciation. So was music a big part of your household, or was it just something that you did at church?
No, it was a big part of the household. I mean, my mom always just sang around the house anyway. So, in a nutshell, I just followed what she did. I mean, it was always me, my mother, and my sister. And my sister's an amazing singer as well, so I might want to note that. But I just literally listened to whatever mom played. And when she played it, we just kind of sang it. So we were around the house singing Betty Wright songs. I'm nervous and I'm trembling, waiting for you. So it was just whatever she played, we digged into it. And we just sung around the house, and she heard me, and she said, "You're going to sing in church," and I was shy about it. And eventually, I just ended up doing it because she made me do it. So,
I get that. So then, when did you start sort of noticing that you had, because there's people who sing, and then there's people who sing, and so I'm just curious, like, when you started to really notice when your talent started to really unfold for you.
Well, it was always based on what someone said. Okay. I was extremely insecure. So I knew that my timbre of voice was interesting. So that was one thing that I was kind of, taunted about, when I was younger, "Oh, you sing kind of high. You sing like a woman." I've heard many things. You sound very interesting, or your voice is unique. And I stopped taking the word unique as a positive word. But I learned to turn all of that stuff into good stuff and just keep singing anyway, because this is the gift I was given, and I'm going to sing anyway. Yeah. So, but to say there was a stable time when I knew I could sing, I don't think I ever had that. I still think that I'm always a work in progress. I'm grateful for what I have, so I'm not watering it down, but I'm also not putting it to the pinnacle point. I'm just saying that I'm glad I'm here and I have a piece of something to give, and that someone will actually listen. Yeah. So I'm glad. And that feels good in itself.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's interesting that people choose that word unique to put things in a box that they might not like.
Exactly. I'm used to it. Now I am.
What? How did you get past that? Because, I mean, I'm sure you heard a lot. I mean, like, how is that? Yeah. How did you... Because I mean, when I look at you, you look like a very confident human being who I know can blow my ears out of the water with that beautiful voice. So I just...
Well, thank you.
I'm just... I know it's a journey, and so I'm just wondering when that sort of...
Well, I mean, the thing is this. How do you get over it? It becomes mind over matter. You have to make a decision. Like, literally, I love the term, and I stated on Facebook recently, I said, we're waiting for Superman to show up, and he's never coming. So, and when I say that's me saying, why am I'll sit here and wait for validation. I'll wait for someone to think that I sound good, or I'm good enough, or I need to be managed, or I should be a part of a label. I've signed 2 different deals. I want to talk about them, but, they didn't work. And it wasn't that I wasn't good enough, but it was a thing that it just wasn't the right timing. But how did I overcome it? I overcame it by simply, literally encouraging myself to get out of my own head and just sing. And sing the way you sing. Do not sing to fit a profile just because you are a 6 foot tall black man and you look like you sing like this, but you sound like this. Right. So I've heard that many times. I was one day in a club at an open mic session here in Atlanta years ago, and a great brother, and he's a great brother. I remember singing a song by Rochelle Farrell, singing in her key, and I remember walking out of the club, and he ran after me, and it startled me because it was dark and it was a club, and I was like, "Yo, what do you want?" But he just said, and I will never forget his words. He said, "Yo, man, I was up there and I saw you, and I was wearing all black that night, actually. So just imagine." So he said, "So I was black on black." And he says, "Man, I looked up on the stage and I saw this big black man and dressed in black," and he says, "All I could think was, only God could do that."
That's a beautiful.
And when he said that, because I was really waiting to be offended. I was waiting to be offended by whatever he was going to say. And he says, only God could do that. Wow. And that to me will never, and I'll never forget that, brother. So thank you. Yeah. Anyway, that was one of those moments that kind of helped me a little bit to know that there was something different, unique, but but I never walked around like, oh yeah, I'm Cleveland, I'm super special, even though I am special, and actually all of us actually are,
Right.
But that was one of those moments that kind of helped me without, let's say, the validation without needing it, but it was a wonderful statement that I would never forget, and that was in the early 2000s, around 2001, I think it was. When this was said to me, but I never forgot those words.
Yeah, you can't, man. Because those are the things that people say to you that keep you moving in those dark times when you are doubting yourself, because you will doubt yourself as an artist.
Oh my gosh, all the time. All the time. All the time, No, I do all the time.
Yeah.
But what I do know is that I have to just continue to press. If I really believe in myself and believe in what I'm doing, even like you say, even when you're scared, do it shaking, do it afraid, still do it. And let the masses and whoever gravitate to you, and let it be from there. But don't wait around for somebody to say you're good enough. I don't need someone to tell me that anymore.
Yeah.
Because I am good enough. And that I can say proudly now, but not in the space of being pompous, but in the space of saying, gosh, this is my journey here on earth. Why not be as happy as I can and sing as much as I can and write and produce whatever I can? Just be happy.
Yeah.
And be grateful for the gift, because one day we won't be here. So at least leave all your little magic babies around. So, one day somebody will be able to go back and say, hey, who's this person? Leave your mark. And that's my goal.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing about, like, when you're saying that, everyone is special, and it's like the biggest thing one of the things that saddens me is when people don't dig in to find that about themselves, where they'll sit there and they'll just be like, oh, I wish I could do that, and I wish I could do this, and I wish I could do that. And it's weird, because it's not like you can tell people. It's not like it comes in a manual, like, this is what's special about you. This is what God gave you, or whatever you believe in. This is what you came with, It's really something that you
there's no handbook. There's no handbook to this, but it has a lot to do with how you grow up. How do you see yourself? But I mean, and I'm going to mention family. How your family, how you're reared, how you're raised. Is this a confident? Did you grow up in this strong and confident environment? I think that my mother did the very best that she could, as well as my grandfather, and all those were surrounding me. We all were being who we were, and sometimes it doesn't work. Like, it's not always the right words. It's not always the right choices. But then there's something for me that just came into play that said, Cleve, wait a minute. Isn't this your life? Isn't this your destiny, your journey? So you need to be in control of that. It took me years to get there, and I'm still in the battle of it. But I'm so grateful that I'm bolder in who I am. I'm bolder in how I sing, and my approach to music, and my approach to how I even deal with people, and also more so how I treat myself. So I learned to love me so much more than I ever have before. So that's I think is reflective in what I give on recordings.
It's when you're telling like, you literally do have to tell yourself this. It makes people look at you weirdly when you're like, no, you gotta like really, like, you seriously gotta say, like, I love myself. Like, you have to say it
I love
over
me.
and over and over and over again. And it's just like anything else. If you weren't equipped with that kind of skill set, you have to develop that skill set. And one of the biggest ways to develop that skill set of self-love is just telling yourself you love yourself, which it sounds so silly, but it's like...
It sounds silly, but you got to mean it. It's always a work in progress. I mean, I'm always looking at that. I mean, there were so many things that I could totally talk about, which aren't really that deep at this point. But I mean, I was so insecure about my skin tone. I was insecure about my nose. I'd rather be right now. I can speak in a very transparent place because I'm choosing to love Cleveland in his wholeness. So And to me, the voice for me, singing was my saving grace, and meaning that it was the only way I felt like I could heal myself, particularly, and not to give any type of graphics, but when I would go into the shower, it was like my safe haven. I could sing my little song to myself, whether it was a scat or a scream or a growl, whatever it was. I felt like that was where I felt like, oh man, this is just wonderful, and I could sing freely. But as soon as I kind of walked out, it was different because, in my mom's house, fine, but like, I hear people who sing and hum and stuff like that in the grocery store. I am not that guy. I'm like, you are bold. I'm like, that's bold, but I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
I still to this day, I'm not that guy. I might do a little, but that's about it. Like it's as if like whatever's in the playing in the store might. But outside of that, no, I'm not going to be like, hey, my name is Cleveland and I'm going to skit scat and you're going to love me because this is how I sing. I am not that guy at all. I'm more shy than most would know. So when I tend to sing, I'm probably singing through some stuff, so what you may be hearing from me is you're hearing all of it. You're hearing a hurt, you're hearing love, you're hearing, laughter, you're hearing all of it. So I just put it all in there and here we go.
Well,
and do it unapologetically.
You know what? That's the one thing. And by the way, Reina, thank you for those bits. I appreciate that. That was one thing that I get told a lot is like, you gotta stop apologizing, dude. Like, cause it's like, oh, I'm sorry, and it's like, and on one hand, it's like it becomes disingenuous. First of all, you're lying after a while if you just keep on apologizing for some stuff you're just gonna do again. It's just like, but secondly, it's I don't find it to be a great look, and it's like. I think you can be vulnerable in this world, but there's a difference between being vulnerable and insecure, and not sure about what you're presenting to people, and like when it comes to certain aspects of my artistry, which even makes me sound sick to my stomach saying my artistry. It just, but it
is your artistry,
right? But there are certain things that I'm very confident about, that that I know what I can do, and then there's other aspects where I'm just like, oh, please don't make me do, like for instance, singing, singing, which I recently just started doing out live.
Oh, nice.
As a background, and my goodness, it is just, to me, it's the most vulnerable instrument there is, because it is you.
I agree with you.
It's you, and when people don't like your voice,
and it's your unique,
they don't like you in a weird way. They don't like how you're shaped. They don't like how your air comes out, how the vibrations hit their ear. They like literally, if they don't like your voice, they literally don't like a piece of you, which you can't look at it in that kind of insane, magnifying glass way. But like, that's how I see things sometimes, which gets me in a lot of trouble. But it's, it's okay. It happens, and I don't know. It's fun. It's fun for everyone.
Well, let me give you this. Please. So it is true, and but the beautiful part of that to me is that well, let's just say this: as you get older, I don't know your age, but I do know that once I crossed the 40 mark, something shifted within me, and it stopped caring as much as I did about what someone thought of me. Whether it was my physical self, my voice. My voice wasn't designed for every single person, every single ear.
Right.
Be okay with the fact that your frequencies are not going to match somebody else's frequencies, and it's okay. Now, and that's where you get to have more, I would say, more control of your own emotions, and also still stand strong in who you are versus needing to try to sound like and fit into boxes. I'm tired of boxes. Boxes have been built for as cages, and I don't live in those.
Yeah.
So my thing is, be happy with what you got. Be accepting of what you receive. This is your one life, at least that we know of here. And one day we will expire. And the fact that you are here, why not live your happiest while you can? And whether it's singing out loud or singing secretly or privately, like I do, a little small hum here and there. But it's just be free. But it's easy to say. It's easy to say and not, easier to say than do. But because this is a journey again, and I'm still on it, and I'm glad to be here. Yeah. So, and I'm going to say this, and this is not to be rude to people who don't like your sound. I don't care about them. Right. I can't care about, because that's they own that, and that's theirs. But you don't stop because of that. That's all I'm saying.
Of course, and
so keep singing.
Exactly. Well, thank you, and I will keep singing personally, and
please.
In fact, I'm forcing myself to do so because Twitch is such a weird platform. I love it, but it could get weird because I'm gonna make a thing where the people watching can make me do like sing certain things, and just to force me to sing in front of people because
Okay.
it's the only way that you get over these certain things. I was just listening to this video that just randomly came up in my Instagram stream, and it's Will Smith talking about, doing the inspirational Will Smith thing. And he's talking about for whatever reason, God or whatever you want to call it, whatever that mystery is, puts the highest prized things on the other side of terror. And I like that. I really do, because it's thank you for the posture check, Whisper Glitter. Sorry about that. The chat. Anyways, it's a really powerful statement, because that is the one thing that I have noticed the most is, like, anytime I'm afraid of something, and there's things to be afraid of in this world, but when it's something like singing in front of people, something basic like that, once you get through it, once you get past it, and once you start to understand that it's really just becoming comfortable with who you are and what you're doing. I mean, like, the amount of confidence that came with that, it was undescribable, because I do consider myself kind of insecure, shy person. I can be. I'm getting better. Like you, I'm getting better as I get older and starting to understand who I am and stuff. But it really did help me put into perspective of my place on stage. It helped me it helped me across the board. Like, the benefits of singing in front of people and facing my fear made it easier for me to communicate with people. It made it easier for me to, like, just general communication and just generally communicating. It just helped a lot. Just getting past those weird fears that we hold on to. I know that was a very long blah blah blah, but you get what I'm.
This is your story. This is your story.
I mean,
this is your expression. I'm not here to judge it.
Well, I appreciate that, Cleveland. I mean, do you agree with that?
Who am I to do that? I do agree with you. Only thing that I would backtrack on. You said a basic thing like singing.
Oh my goodness!
I wouldn't say.
I'm so sorry.
No. See, we say we weren't going to be apologizing.
Yeah,
so
I know.
It's not that. But see, what's basic to someone else cannot be so basic to the next person.
Right.
I held onto that particular. I heard everything you said, but I held onto that little piece.
Good.
Because people deal with anxieties. People deal with anxieties, and it's a real thing for people, because people are highly judgmental. People have something to say, even when you're dead. They still talk about you. You can't say anything. So at the end of the day, just do you the best you can, but also take your time. So let's be clear. When you call it basic, it wasn't so basic for you.
Right.
Because so it wasn't basic.
Not
it
at
was
all.
Something. It caused you a little bit of an anxiety. So the thing, and acknowledge it for what it is. A lot of it. So it wasn't so basic. So the thing is this: continue to work on that. That's all you do, is continue to work on that. But you're going to have to hopefully start flooding out what you think people think, because sometimes you really have no earthly clue. I've gotten up and sung what I felt like I was singing my heart out, and people were just looking like, oh, okay. And I felt inside initially, because we're in our heads. I thought, wow, oh gosh, I thought I hit that note pretty well that time, in my head. Yeah. But then there's something that tells me, and you were waiting to be validated by whom? And it'll take me back to something that was said to me by my professor when I was in the Morehouse College Glee Club, Dr. David Morrow. He said to us as a Glee Club, he said, you need to, when you perform, sing, do what you're supposed to do, and leave. Now, he didn't mean don't communicate with people, whatever, but he meant do not wait for the validation to say, hey, did I do a good job? Did you think how did it seem? Now, I'm not saying that your friends' opinions don't matter, okay?
Right.
But I am saying that if you have the guts to get up there and do it yourself, that is the hugest pat on the back in itself. So all I'm saying to you personally is pat yourself on the back. Do not discredit the work that you have put in. It's important. And as I talk to you, I'm talking to myself. Yeah. So just keep going, keep pushing. And I know this is probably not this whole motivational speech thing, but this is me. And I just want to tell you, keep pushing.
I appreciate
Keep on
that.
going.
But
Yeah.
here's the other part about it is like I am that kind of person that constantly needs someone being like, come on. It's like that's why I basically married my mother. Ugh, that sounds weird. In certain aspects.
But I get it though.
But in
I
certain,
totally understand.
there is a certain aspects to it that, but I mean, it's
You need people. You need people.
yeah,
you need people.
I'm
People
needy.
who get you, who understand you. And needy is okay. I'm not very needy at all.
To an extent,
but,
it's okay, it's
Yeah.
but that's good. That's good that you're not needy. It's like, do you prefer?
No. Mm-mm. Needy.
Do you prefer? So do you prefer just being by yourself? Are you one of those
Yes.
kind of people?
I can answer that real fast.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. I think people are amazing, but then there's a side of me that doesn't really like people. I still love you, but I don't really like people. It's because there's such a plethora of energies around. I'm definitely way more introverted. Like this is a platform to get to talk to you. So and I'm also in the comfort of my own home. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, this is easy to do, and I know that the masses or whoever watch it will see it. I don't hate people. I just know that let's just say this. A lot of us have motives, and we will say we don't, but we have motives. Even if it's just to talk to you and pick your brain, there's a motive. Even if it's negative or positive, it's a motive. So, always be leery of your own personal motives and what is it that you really want out of something. Are you pretending? Like, what is your platform? And are you clear of your platform? Where's your shine? How do you shine genuinely as you? Not based on someone else's gifts, because you have all that, because you're gifted too. So walk into that gift too. And what you're doing right now is a gift, and it's a gift to me. So I'm grateful. I don't take it for granted. Well, seriously.
Well, no, and me neither. And that's a lot of times when I'm communicating with potential guests or guests that I've had on, they're like, I'll say thank you every time because I that's how I was taught, first of all. But
me too.
They're like, bro, I should be thanking you, not you thanking me. It's like, no, like you gotta understand, like I'm asking you to take some time out of your day, which time is the most precious thing we have on earth.
That's true.
So I'm asking you to spend some of that on me, and to me, every time when someone says yes, it's just like, oh, good. I genuinely, like,
you
yay.
sound like a very grateful man. You are grateful.
I am grateful,
spirit.
but
that's what it is.
And I can be ungrateful too. I mean, humans, right? We can.
Yes, absolutely.
but
I don't take it for granted that like I am grateful for this moment, for this, to talk to you.
Yeah.
And so thank you.
No, thank you. We're just be too nice to each other for the rest of this discussion. Is us just thanking each other.
It's okay. We need more thankful people, so it's okay.
I agree with you. And the thing about being grateful, there is so much ungratefulness in the world. And like when I talk about me being ungrateful, like even thinking like yesterday, I was having those moments where I had a no. And it was like one of those, you get no's all the time in this business. And I got one of those no's. And for whatever reason, I'm used to no's. It's a pretty simple thing. But for whatever reason, this one just sort of got to me. And I just started questioning everything. And I sort of went into that like internal dialogue where it's like, well, maybe you suck. Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe you're a failure. Maybe... and I literally had to catch myself and be like, what?
I'm glad you did.
But wait a second. It's like you have a wife, you're safe, you're a family, you have people who love you, like, and you really have to stop and be like, oh my God,
pull it back. Pull it back for a second.
When's the last time that do you have those moments as well? I mean, do you have those where you have to pull yourself out of those? Is that a thing that
Yeah, of course. I mean, today was a day prior to this. Like, there are things, I won't get into the details, but
sure.
there are things I'm in my head. Life happens. You wake up sometimes on the wrong side of the bed, as they say. You got a lot on your mind. Stress is a real thing, and you have to learn to calm yourself down. You have to sometimes, like, you may not have a guru who's there to say, hey, woosah. You have to say, hey, I need to woosah me.
Yeah.
And I'll tell myself, Cleveland, you're being too much sometimes, and you need to simmer it down. Count back to 10. Count down. Take the deep breaths because you need it. go listen to something, put some headphones on, listen to the rain, listen to some rain recordings, because it calms my spirit, and it makes me go to sleep too. So all that to say, yes, I have a lot of the very, very same things. We're human. We have, again, we're on this journey called life. And at the end of the day, I learned how to pull myself back and say, man, check yourself, because I don't get it right all the time. But at the end of the day, being rejected, no one likes it, but it's something. But the beautiful thing about the rejection is this: your no is going to be someone's yes, or it's going to be the correct yes for you when the right person. Right. And just because it didn't go the way you wanted to, actually, this is how I learned, and I think it is real for me, not say for you. I think that you get so blessed when you get the no, because you weren't supposed to be there. You might got that. Say had you gotten there, and because you so desperately wanted, and you found every which way to make them convince them to say yes when they really want to say no. You may live in a little bit of misery in that moment, because you weren't really supposed to be there. And then there's a lesson to learn that you could have avoided. So count that no as your blessing, in my opinion. Okay. Yeah. Not no one else. Count it. You weren't supposed to be there. No. And that's the thing. Being okay. You're not supposed to be there. This was not for me. Yeah. And take a deep breath, and it'll still linger a little bit because we don't like it. It stings. But this too shall pass. You get over it. It's funky. So I understand. Yeah. No. The thing was about it was that it was like the most gracious no too. It was like one of those no's that was also filled with valuable information, because the person I was contacted is a friend of mine, and they actually it's a startup out in Seattle, and they're doing really well. And I think the reason why the no bothered me so much is because it came back with the information he came back with was very valuable. And I was just like, wow, he took the time to type something really long. Like, it was a very long message. It was a very nicely gracious. Well, he cared. He does. And he's a friend. And that was beautiful. But with that was like these crushing sentiments and these crushing numbers that just, I thought I had something to offer. And he was like, actually, you have nothing that I want. But here's why. And it's not because I don't like the idea, because he was like, this is a very great idea. I really like it. But here's why this will never happen with us. And, it's those perspective shifts. This is why it will never happen this is why it will never happen under the confines of him. That doesn't say it will never happen. Right. And you know what? So, he didn't say it will never happen. He just said it was like because he gave me a yes, but. And then he gave me the but. And then it was like at the end of it, it was like a no. So it's yes, but no. So it was fine. And when was the last time that you had, where you had a no that, and you don't have to get into details, but what are some of the things that you sort of learned from that? Well, what I learned from my nose is, first of all, it stings. Right. Let's be clear. I'm not going to lie. It hurts. It stings. So it hurts. I understand you. So there is no denial of that. We're human. Yeah. When you want something and you can't have it. Let's just say sometimes all no's are not always verbal. Right. And sometimes they're not written. But you can know by way of silence. And I'll go there with it. It hurts deeply. And specifically when you feel like there's no exact answer. So at least you did get answers. Yeah. And whereas me, sometimes I never got no answer from it. It's just silence, which was the answer. Yeah. And that kind of crushes you a bit. But I'm also so grateful for that silence, because that silence allowed me to move forward and say, okay, Cleve, okay, you know what this isn't. And stop acting like you don't see the red flags. Stop acting like you don't know what's going on. Rejection in relationships, in music in itself. That's also like submitting a song to something you wrote, what you felt was the best song in the world, and you submitted it and they couldn't see the light of day. Maybe it was already rigged. Maybe they knew what they wanted. Maybe you just simply weren't it. And you need to accept that, yes, this was a great song to you, but not under the confines of what they wanted. And it helps you to say, okay, but you keep moving. And do you toss that song? No, you don't toss it. It could be right for something else. So just keep yourself moving. So I constantly do a self-motivational thing. Meditation is great. It helps kind of help. So I get a little bit more into that, not as much as I want to, which I will start shifting that, but it's been one of the best things that I could have ever done, that helps clear me a little bit. And also if it hurts, say ouch. If it causes tears, cry. Yeah. Whatever it is, go through all the emotions. I think when you deny yourself the hurt or the rejection of it, I think you deny yourself of healing. Yeah. And I want to heal. I want to move on to the next situation. I don't want to keep bringing baggage into things. I want to be a better person for me too. Imagine bringing that into a relationship. We'll be, try to be as, that's all. I can get too deep into that, but it's not deep. Yeah.
But it is. I mean, because how many people?
Because it matters to you.
I think it should matter to a lot of people, though, because because what you're talking about is self-improvement, and I feel like when people are taking time to improve themselves, they're not only improving themselves, but they're improving the environment around them. And so, if you're constantly inviting hell into your house, like drugs or bad relationships or whatever it is, whatever our vice is, ice cream, whatever. Mine's ice cream. It used to be drugs, but now it's ice cream too.
I don't buy it, but
I don't buy it either.
I'm glad you.
I don't condone it.
I think it's a fair. It's a cool trade. And honesty is a beautiful thing too. So even inviting honesty in that space is raises the bar, it raises the frequency too. Whether it's hurtful honesty or truth, it still raises it because you still told the truth. And there's again where I think healing can happen. If you open yourself to it, you can get some stuff done. So we're not so bad off.
Well, you should have knew me like 7 years ago. It would have been a totally different answer, a totally different conversation we probably would have been having. But
I wasn't always who I am today, but I'm better. Yeah.
Right.
So
and that's what I'm saying is like by self-improving, you're not only just improving yourself, but you're improving the environment around you. And that includes people as well. And when people start seeing that you're changing for the better, and I mean, and I constantly have to talk about myself because that's all I know, kind of.
Well, that's fine.
But
you better than we do.
But it's like, when I quit drinking, there was this shift that happened, and I had to get past this whole I had to get past the person who I had become and sort of let happen by running away from my problems. And so once I started that journey and started really doing these self-improvement things where I'm losing weight, I'm taking care of myself, I'm trying, I'm not doing drugs now, really, really focusing, meditation, all that. I noticed the change was happening not only with me, but it happened with my family, in our immediate relationship. Everything got better. It happened with my friends. Everything got better. And also my friends started looking to me as inspiration, which again, 7 years ago, that's not how things were. Okay. It was like,
here's the coolest part. The coolest part, 7 years ago, you were supposed to do everything you did 7 years ago.
Right.
All this was supposed to result to your right now.
Right.
And what you did was your darkness became light. So now all this light energy is attracting. You're now a light worker. And yes, we fall back. Okay, no one's perfect, but the thing is you're a light worker and now you're bringing light. And so this is why your relationship is better. This is why you have your friends and everything is better. That's why you treat yourself better. You're cognizant of what you used to do and what you won't do again because you knew what it did to you back 7 years ago.
Right.
This becomes your story. This is a part of your journey. So 7 years ago, what I did, you were supposed to do all of that when you did it.
Yeah.
None of this stuff is like some fluke out of the sky. Why did you do this? And what were you thinking? No, it was all supposed to happen. Again, I could be on fire right now inside myself, but I knew that this is supposed to happen and just deal with it accordingly. If you don't face stuff, all of you, mainly you in the mirror, all of it, then you're going to have some complications when it comes to real communication and being honest and not lying to people because you're typically lying to yourself. I don't want that life. Yeah. And what you've done, even though I don't know your story and don't even need to know your story, but I do know that something shifted and it shifted for the better. And I'm proud of you that you stepped into new shoes and you're not, and wherever those old shoes are, throw those throw them away, burn them. Yeah. Burn them. Okay?
Yeah, for sure. And that's the bigger picture here that I was sort of getting at was that when you improve yourself, you're not just improving yourself, you're improving your environment,
your surroundings,
you're improving your community, whatever it is. Like even if it's this small change, it is a change. I mean, man in the mirror, right? It starts with us. It starts with the man in the mirror. So it's just been It's been fun, but I'm glad that you know what I'm talking about, because sometimes you talk to
I
people
do.
and they're just like, I don't know what this is, like self and
Listen,
thinking.
a lot of us don't look like what we've been through. A lot of us don't tell all of our truths. A lot of us, so all that being said, again, this is your journey. Everything that happened was supposed to happen, and there's more to come as long as you're here. Yeah. So just prepare yourself as much as you can. And some things you can't prepare for. You're just going to have to deal with it as it comes. Yeah. Like you said, the no you received, but the no you received didn't break you to a point where you're not here anymore.
Right.
And because some people will take that no and say all of it is over and go. But that wasn't your story.
Right.
See, I would just go there.
And that's another thing is, like, when people get no's, they can either they stop or they respond poorly in a way that maybe you just burnt this bridge. You know what I mean? And I could have easily did that, which I had no inclination to. Thankfully, there was no like natural.
I'm glad you didn't.
Right? Like even the inclination, when I have these inclinations to like react poorly, like I get upset and down on myself.
I have those.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No. Just let's say this. I believe in having the moments. I believe in having the woe is me, I'm mad, and yes, I am the victim. It is okay to have all those moments, but how long do you stay there?
Right.
That becomes how long do you stay in the space of victimization? And I choose to say, okay, you don't like it. It's hurting, it's ugly, but guess what? This is not the end of the world for you. This is going to pass over, and to me, it becomes again way more mind over matter. Making a decision to say, how long am I going to stay here? I have personal conversations. So people like to say, hey, you're crazy if you talk back to yourself. Well, call me crazy. Because sometimes, and I'm sure a lot of us who won't admit it do the same. You have to say, should I go? And your energy is telling you one thing that you shouldn't do. And I think that and you follow through and then you find that things didn't work out. But you knew better, though. But you still made a decision to still go down the dark side if you didn't have to. So my thing is like, okay, well, now that you know better, then you do better. Okay, fine.
Right.
So what you going to do? Keep going down the dark road? Then that's you. That's you loving the recycled. And I use this a lot, the recycled conversation, the recycled thing. You keep recycling something because you're not done with it yet. But when you keep going down that road, you're going to keep going until you get there, until you get that full stop. Hopefully it doesn't take you out of here before you learn the lesson. Or maybe that was a lesson you need to learn by being taken out.
Sometimes for some people,
it's true.
That's the lesson that needs to be learned.
That's the lesson. It was like, you got to go. Okay, bye, boo, done. But I would love to think that we keep going through, and it will manifest itself even when you're done. When you think you're done with one thing, it'll manifest itself through someone else or through another subject until you get it. And this is what I'm learning. In 2020, for me, this year has been a lot of purging of things, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all, but I knew it was necessary, and it is what it is, But the main thing for me through all of it, wish no evil on anyone.
Yeah.
And that's where I still stand. Just wish no evil.
Yeah.
And you keep moving forward. So here I am, and I'm in a better place, a happier place. Not exactly where I want to be, but I'm so glad I'm still here. Yeah. So. And I'm glad you didn't expire 7 years ago from your decisions. You're here 7 years later having this great conversation, laughing at yourself. And I think it's great.
I'm laughing at what a buffoon I was, but
okay.
But it
was okay though.
Yeah, you know what? I love those years. Those years were really fun. And sometimes I romanticize it too much, but I learned a lot from those years of being that stupid. When the pandemic sort of started rearing up, what was your reaction? What was your initial reaction?
I was very conflicted. I was in a space of indifference. I was in a space of disbelief. I didn't want to believe that COVID-19 was real. This is just me speaking my truth. I do know that it is real. Something's out there that's happening, and people are dying. And so I take that, I strike that off. Something's out there, for sure. It was daunting. I was totally thinking, oh my God, do I have it? Of course, just like kind of hypochondriac type. I have some symptoms here. Ooh, why is my chest feeling a little bit heavy today? Ooh, let me go and make sure. Okay, let me go get my steam mask to try to get my life together. Yeah. So it's a lot of things that I went through. Of course, I overdid bleach, washing everything after my own self, washing my doorknobs and everything. Again, like I said, a constant washing of hands, wearing the mask. I haven't. I'm better with that now because at first it just took a minute to get used to having to have something over your face.
Right.
But my response to it was not to get too deep into because I'm not going to say I'm a conspiracy theorist. The thing is this: I just don't believe everything that okay, so we're kind of in the same boat. Yes. But I just don't believe everything that people say, and I think that there's so much hidden behind things that we don't know. And then again, the world is filled with a lot of distractions, while the real culprits are getting away with murder, if you will. Something even, we're too focused on, oh my gosh, go get some toilet paper. And don't get me wrong, I thought everybody who needed to go the person who went and got the toilet paper needed to go get the toilet paper. It wasn't that, okay, you just overreacting. Yeah. Well, this is their reaction to it. Right. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because we was like, people are so great. And I had to respect that everybody had their way of dealing with it.
Right.
I didn't feel the rush, but I kept going to Costco and buying a ton of water, like water, and peanut butter.
And peanut butter.
So I did, because I'm thinking, what is sustainable? Honey is sustainable. Yep. What are the sustainable things? Oh, what if you have no water? What if your lights and all this stuff gets turned off? What happens? How can you survive? So I had dear friends who say, Cleveland, these are the things that they're not perishable, so you'll be okay with these things. So I kind of went in that zone. Yeah. I did stay inside the house. Again, I like being home, so being introverted was easy. It was just easy for me to chill. So quarantining was I have always quarantined, so it was always. And not unless I had to go out and perform.
Right.
So I was home. So didn't mind me much at all. I mean, I found a little bit of glory in it. And I like the fact that, just chilling at the house. You know what I'm saying? My concern was Cleveland, do not get fat. So I worked on that is my thing. Do not get fat. You know better. So I learned to watch the food I was eating, and I have not gained any weight during this quarantine thus far. In fact, people who've seen me have said, "Hey, man, oh my God, what are you doing? You look good. Your weight is keeping down." And my mind's thinking, I don't know, maybe it's all the water I'm drinking. Because remember, I went and bought a ton of water. Yeah. So, in a nutshell, I stayed to myself, and I paid my bills. And I will say this, just being able to sustain my life throughout this pandemic has been great. So, do I like it? I don't like what's going on, but I knew something needed to shift for change to come, and change is happening, and it's really happening. I think that it's a permanent change happening now, that is extremely necessary. Yeah. So, hats off to COVID-19 coronavirus, but there was a reason for you to come and shake the atmosphere. There was a reason for the protest to happen, all that stuff, to shake the atmosphere, because something has to give, and it's time. Yeah. It's time's up for it. So here we are.
Yeah, no, and that you hit on something perfectly, is that that this virus highlighted all the cracks and hypocrisies in this structure that we call the United States, and it highlighted to the point where people were like, this is crazy. We're not going to deal with this too. And I love that. I'm curious what is the environment? What's the temperature? Not like the physical temperature out there, but but what's the feel in Atlanta right now? You're in Atlanta, correct? You still are?
I'm in Atlanta.
Okay. And I know there was a lot of protests going on there, and I know another shooting a couple weeks ago. So I'm just curious, what is the environment there? And
I would say this: it is an environment of unrest. But what I have not seen, and I would be honest, I've been wanting to really get out there and protest. Of course, my mother will call me on the phone and say, "Cleveland, where are you? What are you doing?" She's remembering, and I'm going to go deep here. She's remembering I have a black son, and there's a probability something could happen to my black son, and she doesn't want that to happen. So she calls, and it's so different now when her calls are you home? She wants to know that I'm home. She needs to know that I'm safe. So it's hurtful, because this is now the reality. It's always been this way, but now it's amplified. So but can I say, do I know much about protests currently today? I don't, because what I stopped doing was looking at the news too much. Yeah. Because I saw the night when what's this guy's name? Rayshard Brooks. I think that's his name. I'm not sure if his last name. I might have said wrong. I think it is. But I turned the TV on, and all I see is the flames happening and all this stuff. And yes, it was senseless. It was a senseless death, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, this is where we are. And I'm so glad to see more people of different hues putting in the efforts to say this must end. And I always have a problem with the term allies. I'm a different thinker again. So people say, "Oh, you need allies." To me, it negates the word human. Allies negates. I know we're different. We all come from different walks of life or whatever, but we still, again, we cut, we bleed, and whatever. Different perspectives of life. Okay, you may like life this way, I may like this life, but at the end of the day, we're born and we're going to die. We have an experience and then we die. Okay. All that being said, it's hard for me to say that, oh my God, this is my black brother, this is my white brother, and I need my white brother to come with me and join with me with this. I need my brother to come and join with me, and that's when I think we start. Don't get me wrong, we know racism is a real thing, but it just kind of helps us to really see that, it's the human quality that's most important, not, your texture, your skin tone. But again, I do see why people unify as they do, and why a lot of Black people are unifying, because it's necessary, because we haven't had that in a long time. So I'm starting to see a big rise in good things that happen within the Black community, but hopefully, to me, in my mind, globally. Which means everybody. And, but I am not, but let me be for the record, I'm not an all lives matter guy. Why? Yes, because I'm not Black Lives Matter. It does, because I'm a Black man and we're being taken out like it's nothing. And how dare I sit in silence and say that the pain doesn't hurt? It hurts. Yeah. So I just want to say, but I'm also a loving guy. I'm a peaceful guy. I want to see you better, guy, so, and me better too. So all that to say, not to get too deep and too heavy. The climate here is interesting, but, there, some days it's heavy, some days it's not, but I haven't heard anything crazy as of late. So, I'm happy about that, at least. Yeah. But the shift must come. And one thing I must say is that, just because we're on this trail, the trail, when it seems to get quiet, people will think that you're going to a space of dormancy, and that's not what it is. You got to keep fighting. You do not let up until there is this thing called equality, not just, not civil rights. No, across the board, everybody's supposed to have the same thing. Treat everybody the right way. Shouldn't be about skin tone, and But
what is equality to you? What do you see equality as?
Equality is me having the very same rights you have. I don't even know your race. I don't. Yeah. I don't. But the thing is, let's say you will be perceived. Well, I'm obviously Black, and you may be perceived as white, right?
I am perceived.
I don't know
as
that.
White. Yeah, I'm Mexican,
okay.
But
are you white?
I'm Mexican. I'm half and half. I'm a half-sican.
Okay, well, welcome to the world. And, it's a beautiful thing. Listen,
hey,
and the thing is, but like you could be perceived a certain way, and someone like you could get away with a certain privilege that I could never get away with here, and that's where the problem lies. It is about white privilege, and it has to end. It has to end. If it doesn't end, we're going to still stay back. Again, this is 400 plus years ago. This stuff has happened, and we're still screaming for the same thing. People are tired. So when you see the looting and all this stuff, now I have a better hand on, because I'm also the guy where you can tell me some things and it will go over my head. Like, Cleveland is at the airport. He does not know what you're saying. Yeah. But then when I stop, sit, and I research, I start to see that, I see how this is working and why looting it makes sense, even though some people don't get it. Why are you tearing down your city? Listen, let's go back to Tulsa. They tore down an entire city. They bombed these people. Wilmington, Delaware. I think it was Wilmington, North Carolina. I think it is. But there's so much genocide that's happened within in America towards people that are not white. And until you're in that skin, and no shade at all, but you never understand it, feel it. You know what I'm saying? But the empathy is important too. Yeah. But you'll never feel it. So I can't sit back, because I do have some amazing friends that are considered white. I don't really like to say I got great white friends, like a lot of white people say. I got Black friends.
Yeah,
I don't like saying that. Like, I don't say I got great white friends. No, I got some really good ass friends. Yeah. I just say the word ass. Like, they got some good folk that I know that happen to not be Black. Yeah. So I want to see them as that, but that is also the way Cleveland sees the world. But I'm not stupid, and I do see that things are going pretty bad, but I also know that things are rising. So I want us to stay in the positive space as much as possible, but let's do address the truth so we can move forward and change, and literally change it for good and forever, not backtracking, because that Confederate flag has to go. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry.
What? Yeah.
Gotta go.
The insanity of regressing is just so. But again, it's we're not really regressing. It's like the thing is, it's always been there. It's just been under the surface. So I mean, maybe it's better that it's all out in the open now, so we can know where to go. Because
I rather know the racist.
Yeah,
I'd rather know
too.
who's who. I'd like to know the culprit, so you can function better. At least versus you later on you over here sitting willy-nilly and you bombed and you're dead and because you thought that Sammy was your friend. Sammy wasn't your friend. Sammy was just an informant. You never know. And don't get me wrong, it's not just all all white people too. So let's be very clear on that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Race is even within, we have colorism. We're not gonna get into that, but again, we have Mexicans who don't like blacks, who, it's all over, it's across the board. But the brunt of it tends to be black people. I don't know, maybe because we have this most luscious skin. Maybe that's what it is.
It is beautiful.
I'm great. It is amazing.
It is beautiful.
And so all that to say, I'm still gonna love, but I'm not gonna be stupid.
Yeah.
For
sure.
Yeah.
No.
And,
it's like what when we were talking about equality here, it's interesting that so much has been put on race, and I'm not trying to say it's not there's not race is not the core at this, but what I fear is that things get lost because you're gonna hear nothing but this race talk out of the politicians, and we're hearing Amazon's doing the Black Lives Matter stuff, and they're doing that's wonderful stuff, but it's
don't believe the hype.
But it's also drawing attention away from the fact that these corporations and our government are basically one. And if they really cared about black people, they would take all that money that they scam out of those tax loops that they work together so hard to, and they'd get clean fucking drinking water to Flint, where that has the most amount of black people in the state of Michigan. You want to fucking help people? Go take that money.
Right.
Stop doing this culture war shit, and let's talk about what really matters. And it's the amount of money that they are just squandering to themselves. Those tax dollars could easily fix South Chicago.
It should have been resolved a long time ago.
Easily.
A long time ago, do you think? But again, people would like to deny systematic racism bull, institutionalized racism bull, racial. It's a whole lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I'm constantly learning. I don't know it all. God knows I don't. But there's a lot that I'm catching on to and saying, okay, Cleveland, do your homework. Investigate, see things, because what I've learned is that a lot of people have a lot to say and don't have a lot of factual things to stand on. And before I say something that I really don't know about, I tend to say, let me go sit here and just let me go look this up. And even sometimes you gotta be careful what you're looking up to specifically, because everybody say Google it. Everything on Google is not true. People stop that mess. You know what I'm saying? But it is sometimes it's a reliable source, but it is not the end all be all.
Right.
But and so. We're learning, but the thing is there's something positive happening out of this thing. There's a rise up.
Exactly.
And I think that this is beautiful. So I turn more to that light than I do focus on, oh my gosh, woe is me and this is bad, this is happening, because it is true. But it's good that all the darkness is being brought out. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly. With when the pandemic hit, did you go into creative mode, or did you just go into Cleveland mode and just hang out?
I did both. Both of them. I went to because I'm like, you still got to enjoy life. My creative mode was, I would sing songs here, particularly like on Instagram. I continued to sing songs or write some stuff here and there. I kept telling myself, ooh, this is a great time to really focus on that jazz album you've always wanted to do, which I am going to do. But I haven't really focused on it. I've started little pieces here and there, but I've not done much. I've really said, okay, Cleve, can you enjoy life right now? Can you smile today, genuinely smile? Take that breath of good air and keep moving forward. So I did a little of both. I did some creative things, and I'm still doing that. But I'm also enjoying Cleveland. I'm enjoying sitting in the bed a little bit longer, and luckily not gaining weight. But able to lay in bed a little bit and look at a little Netflix show or something like that. That catching up on stuff, and it's been okay. And I have not, I'm not hungry. I still have shelter. I have electricity.
Yeah.
I'm still able to drive my car whenever I need to, and that's only by necessity. I don't do it just to get out and ride. It's because I need to go to the store or I have a rehearsal or something.
Yeah.
So yeah. So both of them.
That's great. That's great. No, because I've ever since this thing started, I've been talking to people about what they did with this newfound time, and some people are I just sat here, nothing. I didn't do anything. But the idea that all your responsibilities are gone and the only thing you really have to worry about is just staying inside and staying safe. I mean, it does give you some kind of weird comfort outside of the fact that existential angst.
You know what? But that has a lot to do with some people who are. Again, that's also an easy thing to say if you're a little introverted.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
It
was great.
But if you're an extrovert, you're like, oh, I need to get out of here, break free. And it's a lot of that happens for people. So, again, that goes to show the difference of people and their personalities. And there's an A type or whatever. So, it's how you see it. Some people are literally going through the motions, sitting in one space. Yeah. I, for one, am like, okay, this is fine. The air works. I'm not hot. Good water. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to bake a cake today, because I bake too. That's something I do on the side. Nice. I bake cakes and stuff. It's fun, and it's therapeutic for me. So I do all that stuff. So it's just fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. Now, are you a voice teacher at all, or do you teach? I thought I saw you were an educator somewhere. Looking.
Yeah. Well, I went to Berklee College of Music in Boston, and I did study. With the degree I got is professional music, but the majority of the classes I was taking were education classes to teach. Mm-hmm. But I don't teach right now, but I do have it. No, I do teach. I consider myself more of a vocal coach. I'm here to help you shine a little bit, help you bring out some parts that you were afraid to get. So I can help you too. You never know. Hey. Just be open, because a lot of it is in our heads, but also one of the biggest problems that we have. And one of the first things I tell my voice students when I first meet them is like, listen, the first thing we got to work on is getting you used to your own sound. Because a lot of times we want to sound like Whitney Houston, we want to sound like Luther Vandross, we want to sound like Led Zeppelin, whoever is singing out there. People want to sound like something because, again, we all are part of the fabric of America, our fabric of the music we hear, and we're influenced by it. But let's find your sound, and that's one of the first things. Once you get there, and I think we can, we start working some stuff. So I'm always about that. So yes, I do vocal lessons, and I really love doing it. So it's fun. I have a great student. I have one student right now, and she's consistent, and I love her, and she's awesome, and I'm very proud of her.
That's wonderful. No, my wife is actually a vocal teacher. So she was there. She was there to constructively criticize how I did everything, which was great because now I know how to breathe through my stomach and not through my chest.
Yes, and you'll lose a lot of air that way.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. But I have a question from the chat, and you could totally feel free. This is on the spot, but there is if you could give us a bit of a song, a bit now. Feel free to say no. I'm not trying to put you on the spot here.
What would you want to? I would have to say, what would you want to hear? Because that's on the spot. I could do a little something. I don't know what it's going to be at all.
Well, I don't think.
And I'm right here in front of my little piano thingy, so it won't be so bad.
You can play just a little bit or all of it, whatever you want to do.
Oh no, it will be just a little bit.
That's great.
I'll say. I don't know these chords that well. So that's enough. I don't make too many mistakes.
That was perfect.
But
that was perfect. I appreciate it.
Hello, whoever you are.
That was from Whisper
I'm real.
Glitter.
I exist. Hi, oh, how you doing? I think we're friends on Instagram.
You might be.
I remember names.
Yeah. Whisper Glitter. She might have went and found you because I was advertising, so she might have went and friended you up. But
Whisper Glitter. I just know that name somehow, but maybe not.
It might be.
But thank you.
Is that from Rainbow Bright? Whisper Glitter. I don't know. I don't know where that's from. I'm always curious about these famous music schools. Like I had somebody on who went to Juilliard, and she was a percussionist on Broadway, and I'm always curious because that was the one step that I never took. I never went and completed music school or went through with all of that. So I'm always just. Can you speak on your experience? I mean, first of all. You went to a fucking great school, Morehouse, right?
Yes.
That's where you got your undergrad.
Yes, actually, this is funny.
Please.
So I went to Berkeley. I have 2 bachelor degrees.
Oh, nice.
So because at the time they didn't have an actual master's program when I went to Berkeley. I have a degree in theater from Morehouse.
Okay.
And which I minored music, and then at Berkeley it is a music degree. So yeah.
Oh, how was your experience at Morehouse? I mean, I know
I loved it. One of the best experience in my entire life that I will never forget. I felt like that was the first time I felt free and I laughed. And it sounds weird, but I was always in my head. I grew up in this country space, and then I got to Morehouse. I felt like, oh my gosh, and I saw a whole lot of me. I saw a whole lot of black guys, and we were all in this one place. And of course, there's Spelman across the street with all predominantly African American female college. It was just a beautiful experience for me, and I'm so glad that I did that before going to a place like Berkeley. I felt like I got a good black experience that I really needed because I was one of those kind of reclusive kind of kids. I definitely didn't have. I didn't grow up with a brother. I just had me, my mother, and my sister. So, to be around other black men like myself was very, very a very positive thing for my life. So, because again, I didn't grow up with it. So it was just Morehouse is top for me, always top. That's I'm a Morehouse man, and I'm very proud to say that. Berklee College of Music, awesome place. Definitely a wonderful place. I think it's extremely too expensive, but because we're still paying those student loans. But I get it because it is a state-of-the-art school, and a lot of greats have gone there. And I want to consider myself one of those greats who's also stepped out there too. And also, again, I'm going to say thank you for this type of platform because somebody who didn't know me gets to know me this time. So thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely. I mean, I want as many people to know about you as possible. I mean, thank you so much for that.
And you too.
Thank you for that little thing. I know that's always weird when people are like, "Hey, start singing," but you know.
No, but it was okay. It was okay, and I kind of was waiting for that to happen, so it was okay. I didn't, I did a little something, and I moved on.
Yeah, that was perfect. That was perfect. That was absolutely perfect. So your experience with Berklee, what was like some of the we'll start with Morehouse. What besides being around other black men and black people in an educational experience, especially like what are some of the big things that you took away in your creative side and other sides as well too?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think that I was able to bond better with my own. I grew up, and this is another confession session, if you will. I had problems being around other black men because I didn't, I didn't come across as the most masculine guy. Mm-hmm. So he was always like, hey man, what's going on? And I was just like, hey, how you doing? Yeah. So it was a thing of feeling comfortable in my own skin, and that environment provided that for me. Let's just see. That was one part.
Yeah, that's huge.
Creatively. Very, very huge for me because again, I'm more introverted and I like to be by myself, but it was nice to have friends that I have for life, that I can say I have for life, that I met there, and brothers for life is what I would say. It definitely brought about a lot more creativity there because that's when I first discovered jazz. I mean, I've heard stuff, but I never really sung jazz, never knew much about it until a young lady said, you have a jazzy sound. And when we did that, and she taught me Autumn Leaves and the song Summertime. And ever since then, I fell in love. So I started researching Jimmy Scott. I started researching Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, but I fell in love, which I love all of them, but I fell in love with Sarah Vaughan. Oh. And I just kept buying her recordings, and listened to the richness of her voice. So I got deep into that. So that again, just the camaraderie with friends, knowing that, learning more about music, learning more about theater because I had to be out there in the front. I try to always do stage management stuff, but I end up singing and getting a role that I didn't want to get. So I had to sing anyway and still get the role. So it was breaking me out of my shyness. So it's just a lot of beautiful places that I can say when I think of Morehouse, that I can say it's just, you can't really put a pin on it. It's beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had in my life. And I'm grateful that I was accepted and made so many great friends and brothers and sisters as well from there. So love that place.
That's wonderful. And then what about Berkeley? What are some of the big things that you took away from there?
Berkeley was definitely, I was intimidated initially to get to Berkeley because I was quite intimidated. I knew that I could sing, but I didn't know what I was singing. Let's just say that. So it's almost as if going to Berkeley taught me how to really learn what I was doing already. Which a friend already kind of told me that. Thank you, Mark Nelson, for that. He told me that. He said, you're kind of just going to study what you already naturally do. You're just going to figure out what it is. So, but I did definitely grew. So I grew in the space of theory. I knew more about theory. I started then producing songs. I knew I'm still not a proficient piano player, but you put a chord chart in front of me or a lead sheet, I can probably make it through the song. But as far as the environment, what I loved most about Berkeley was that there were so many people from all these walks of life. So it wasn't just a Black thing. It was Indian. It was African. It was from Norway. It was from Australia. The UK, Germany, you name it, so many places, and from people from all these walks. And one thing that I love about Berkeley, I felt like it was just a sweet cosmic space that housed the love of music, and nobody cared your color. Nobody cared your sexuality. Nobody cared about, what your religion was. People just simply just got in there and we loved the music. I was singing Japanese pop. Huh? Who thought that would happen? But they asked me to do it, and I was excited that they thought I was good enough to ask to sing on a Japanese pop in a Japanese recital. Yeah. There's so many things that's happened, and I attribute good things when I think of Berkeley. It just was a great experience overall. Too expensive still, but a good place.
Yeah. It's just like you get these you get these ideas in your head. Are you still there, Cleveland? Oh, I don't know if we still have Cleveland. He froze. I like this frozen picture of a. All right. Well, even if he never comes back, that was great. Great ending. He ended right at the end of a thought. So, let me try to get Cleveland back over here. I don't know what happened. Hold on. I'm gonna end it, and then we'll start. Oh no. Oops. Okay. Hold on, guys. We're going to go back. Give me a second. We're going to transition so you guys don't have to watch me do anything crazy. Hold on. I got to get Cleveland back. Oh, man. I am having such a good time with Cleveland here. He's just so cool. Give me a second, everybody. I realize... I know. I'm coming back to you, buddy. He's messaging me now. Oh, his phone died. Okay. Hold on, we're talking right now. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, he's so positive, right? I'm talking to him right now. Yeah, he's pretty positive. He just I like the way he thinks. Like he has I see. All right, let me see if I can. I don't know if I. Crud. Okay, hold on. I think I ended everything. Hold on, guys. Just give me a second. You guys can, if you guys get bored, just stare at this psychedelic daydream back here. It'll keep you going. Let me see if I can. All right. right? No, I don't want to. Join call again. Let's see if this works. Join, and I think Cleveland's in there. I think he's in there. Hey, Cleveland, are you there? Oh. The joys of doing stuff live. All right, I'm going to tell him again. Hold on. Okay. Oh, I hear you.
Mike.
Hey, I hear you.
Sorry.
No, it's totally fine. Oh, oops, I did something wrong. Hold on.
I have the same. It's the same plug-in for the power, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah,
sorry about that.
That is
We're back.
We're back. Okay, guys, we're gonna bring Cleveland back in. We'll wrap up too because I know we've been going for a while here, but
we have lots to say.
Hey, like sometimes you gotta go long. So Berkeley overall was a good experience, and you learned a lot of good stuff from that.
Absolutely, I'm a better musician because of it.
So I'm just curious now with everything seeming to open and back up. Have you been getting gigs and stuff? Have you been gigging out in the real world?
Not really, honestly. Maybe something private could happen. But definitely nothing because there's no venues to my knowledge.
Oh, they're really still all closed.
Right. Maybe get me on your patio and sing songs, and we can make some money that way. That'd be great. But right now, for a lot of us creatives, freelance workers, we're really not getting anything. So it's been tough. It's been tough. But luckily, there's a potential unemployment situation for people. So, everything is not all lost.
Right.
But it's nice to do your work and do it yourself and get back on. So I'm hoping something opens up. But right now I'm hearing that COVID-19 has made a big rise again. And people, please stay in place. Wear your mask. My mask is sitting here on the little couch back here behind. But I'm also home.
Yeah.
But when I do go out to public spaces, grocery stores and stuff like that, I do put it on to protect myself and others. But I'm grateful to be here. And then, and let's just be safe, clean your hands, all the stuff that they say do. Just know that, but let's not get too deep. I have. Remember we?
Oh yeah, no, I like for a while there. I just thought that this was just a way for corporations to completely take over, and I'm sorry, say that one more time.
That a lot of that happened too.
Yeah,
a lot happened. So
yeah,
it's still happening.
Well, 40%.
Well,
40% of small businesses are not coming back from this, and what I'm saying, and the Dow is going great. And we're unemployed. There's just it doesn't make sense. Like the Dow's doing great, but unemployment's doing awful. It's on the rise.
Yeah.
Small businesses are going out by the tons, and I mean, what does that say to you when you see stuff like that? When you see the Dow going great, but everybody else is sort of scrambling.
Well, what I do see is that, let's just say that if we are wise, and for those of us who do get employment, let's just say, let's be smart in where we actually how we spend our dollars.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things is one of the biggest culprits. See, we're consumers. Let's not lie. We're consumers, and we want things. We want what we want. We want that ice cream. We want, our favorite. And no one is saying that you can't. But then there's a time. It's now, I would say, what can you do without, and are you practicing that? Are you saving anything? Are you investing anything for yourself? Because while these corporations are doing something, you can also, if you have a little bit, you can also invest a little bit of stock into the stock market. So these are things that in this spirit of COVID to say, okay, wait, I never thought about being some financial planner or into that. So I'm learning, wait a minute, what can you do that's smarter than just waiting? What you doing?
Yeah.
So, it's me making the decision. But then there are some of us who do not know the way. And for those of us who do know the way, help, show, hey, because people don't honestly know. We get to the point where we know, well, you should know better. Oh, everybody doesn't know better until you teach them sometimes. So let's have more compassion. And I think that we'll keep moving along through all that's going on right now. So 2020, whoo, and it's still whoo. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It is not giving us a break. I'm glad. I don't like it, but I'm glad because it's really, really helping truth to really come out and just be seen. And I'd rather live in the truth than just, wait later on and something is going to happen that I could have because I didn't know. But it's nice to know.
Yeah.
And
the truth will set you free, folks. Cleveland, I'm so happy we're able to talk, and I had such a blast talking to you and getting to know you a little better. And I look for, do you got any releases gonna come out, or is everything just sort of on hold right now?
Well, let me just say this. So this is the thing. Right during the pandemic, which hit me hard, was I just released an album.
Oh my! We didn't even talk about that. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. At least we'll get this in. We needed to talk about what we spoke about. All this needs to happen.
Yeah.
But I released an album on March 27th. It's digital. It's all on all the streams. And the title of it is "Let's Make Love" by Cleveland P. Jones. It's 12 tracks.
It's beautiful, by the way.
I did things. Thank you. I did things my way. I didn't let someone tell me that I have to sound like what's supposed to be on the radio. And I'm a creative, and I did it my way. I love choral music. I many times on track 12. I like to produce some things I did. I love the guy named Daniel Crawford. He's an amazing producer. So I called on him. I called on Wagner. I called on Brandon Thomas. I called on Mark Nelson. I called on Darren Benjamin. I don't want to leave it out. But the point is, I called on some really great people who are just good people, and they know what they're doing. And I don't regret it. Only thing I will say, the timing of COVID is that the momentum of moving forward with the album was pushed. It didn't, I didn't try to even put it to radio. I kind of got discouraged, to be honest. I was like, oh, well, here we go. Nobody's doing this anymore. I can't do the CD release party anymore.
Right.
The thing is that I wonder, because right now that has been out March 27th, do I get a chance to relive it? It's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to bring that back to life. But what I will say is that my music is great and it is not dead. If you have an open ear and you have an open heart and you want to hear some good vocals and arrangements, take a listen to it and check it out. It's on Spotify as well. It's Cleveland P. Jones, and that's how you'll find me. And also, if you want to check me out, there's, again, Facebook, all this other stuff. Everything is Cleveland P. Jones, Twitter, Instagram, Cleveland P. Jones. And if you like to see my baking, just go to the Baker at Instagram.
That's awesome.
That's
I'll make sure I link. I'll make sure that all those links are in the show notes on the podcast. But there is a link in the chat. Everybody, you guys go and click on that and go support Cleveland. And again, thank you so much. This was wonderful. I appreciate it. And
blessing. So this is, and I tell you this little diamond. You helped. This moment helped my day go back. So thank you for this moment.
Oh well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'll be in touch very soon, Cleveland. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Yeah. Peace.
Well, there you go, folks. Cleveland P. Jones. Go out there and get yourself some. Let's go look at his Facebook right now.